on from the invite I got. You may need to also check that.
Oh, okay. I'll check that. Yeah. So, Olawale, good afternoon once again. Yeah. You've met me already. And our host for today, for the Fireside chat today, is Muhyiddin Akoni. Yeah. So, Muhyiddin, Olawale Oguntaye is our speaker for today. Over to you, Muhyiddin.
Hi everyone. Hi, hello, Ali Oguntayo. It's nice to meet you here. Um, Welcome everyone to um, this is episode 4. Am I correct? Oh, sorry, 7.
It's
Right,
five. Five.
5. Oh,
Yes.
okay. Apologies, please. This is episode 5 of our Fireside. I'm the host here. I'm Muidin Akoni, a senior product manager at P3. And I'm also a mentor and a member of Proba. Here at Proba, um, we help product managers get into product management seamlessly, and we give them real life exercise, answer their questions, and basically train them through the product management career, basically from being an enthusiast to being a mid to a junior to a mid and a senior PM, and um, maybe take the chief post eventually. So yeah, we have Olawale Oguntaye here today to um, answer most of our questions that we gather from product managers on our platform. Hi, Tayo. Do you want to do a brief introduction about yourself?
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Hi, Muidin. Thank you for setting the ground. I look forward to an interesting conversation with everyone today. My name is Olawale. I believe everyone can hear me. Let me just start.
Loud and
Can
clear.
you hear me?
Yeah, loud and
Oh,
clear.
awesome. Okay, so my name is Olawale. I have a degree in statistics, and I started my career as an executive assistant with a fintech in Lagos, and then I realized pretty early that I wasn't going to make the most of my career by just being an executive assistant. So I decided I wanted to venture into the tech world. And then my first question was, which side of tech would I venture into, and I wouldn't have to write code? And then I started off with UI UX design. I became pretty good at it, but I wasn't getting the job satisfaction I was looking for. Then I decided to venture into product management as well, considering that I had transferable skills from my other, job experiences and all of that. And I realized, yes, well, product management it is for me. So, and that's how I found myself starting and growing to become senior PM in the product space. So I've worked with quite a number of companies. Longweb is an ed tech platform in India, something similar to Coursera, EDX, and all that. Then I've worked with Grace, a real estate technology platform where you can, come together to co-own a property abroad and earn off the rental. Then I worked with Tomex Holdings as well as um, product man. I joined as a product manager, then I quickly rose to become head of product, where we had 2 apps. We built an invoicing app for businesses, and we built finance app for end users as well. And I had a stint with Netbug. I had a 6-month stint with Netbug where I was head of product at Netbug. Netbug is a software development agency, and that's where I worked on a lot of various products because we had to keep building softwares for a lot of clients cut across a lot of industries. So right now, I double as the CEO of Tech Revolve. Tech Revolve is a startup that is, in the user feedback space. That's why this is actually very interesting for me. We are building a user feedback platform where you can get feedback from your current or prospective customers or users, as it were, and get actionable feedback to improve your product. And I still work as a head of products for Wire Money. Wire Money is a fintech in Australia. So I think that's a concise introduction as it could get about me and my work. So thank you.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much. I like how you've let us know that. I mean, you necessarily don't have to do computer science to move into tech by letting us know you did statistics, and how you let us know that. I mean, sometimes starting somewhere shows that. I mean, gives open your eye to what you want to be. I mean, trying more opportunities, right? I'm very sure people have a lot of stories about how where they started and how they sort of get interested in something and they ask they ask themselves that, is this what I want to do? Or I mean, identify the path that they want to join. And I also like the fact that you ask yourself about, okay, which one can I do without having to write a code, right? It is also important to let people know that joining tech doesn't necessarily mean that you should write a code, right? But then, I mean, before we go further, I mean, start asking multiple questions. What is it like for you? I know you're a senior PM today, but then do you even get to, I mean, look into maybe writing a little code at all, maybe MySQL code to just query the DB and stuff like that? And how is that doing you? Or do you have plans to probably be more technical and maybe write one or two code or even guide? I mean, knowing them, sometimes it is not even having you to write, but then I'm seeing the code and understand them. Yeah. Please go ahead.
Okay, so currently I write SQL. I write my SQL, but it was consider the fact that working with engineers, you would want to level up, especially when they're having technical conversations. In the early stage, when
can you guys hear me? I said hearing already.
Yes, we can hear you now again.
Okay, so can you hear me?
Yeah, we lost you for some seconds.
So
roll back.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yes, I
so
was
you want
talking
to go back to where you said
cross-functional teams. So in your teams, unfortunately, you would have to work with people that write code. So as not to feel left out, and so as not to be stuck in a position, because you realize that you have to become a specialist. There are technical PMs, there are business-oriented PMs, there are data-oriented PMs, and all of good and almost indispensable in that field. So yes, I write some SQL, and it's in the pipeline for next year to to dive deep with Python. So, but my movement has been slow, considering the fact that I told you that I'm juggling building a startup with working full time. So my learning process with respect to coding, coding side of product management or the coding side of life has been quite slow. So yeah, that's it. As for how I enjoy coding, I'd say that surprisingly, I was expected to, be interested in front end, considering the fact that I used to design. But I realized that I I want the side of things that tasks my brain more in terms of logic and all of that. So that's why I decided to just, look into backend. Maybe as things progress, I might consider delving into the front end side of things, but at least let me start with the back end side of things first. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, right. I like how you've answered this, and I like how you make it look like it is not so important, but it's also important that you understand it, so that I mean you can be able to understand technical jargons that comes from the both the front end and the back end guys, and you're able to relate and sometimes maybe provide solutions, right? And I like the fact that you are also thinking into learning it. And yeah, I mean, also, I will also prefer that I do back end. I don't know why, because I feel like there is a lot of it is more technical being back end than front end. I'm sorry about it. I'm sorry to front end guys, but then it is just how I feel. So yeah, thank you so much. I mean, well done to the organizers for having you to answer these questions, because I mean, you have a lot of experience with customers' feedback. But then, what we want to like discuss today is how does feedback plays in product management, right? Like just help us with successful stories and example on how you've gotten a feedback from a customer, or maybe from a lot of customers, and you're able to like translate it into features or into improving your product, and it's actually like move like you are able to like make the um, product boom in the market.
Okay, thank you for that. Now, um, here in Nigeria, considering the fact that I've worked with a couple of industries across a couple of countries, we used to joke, myself and some product leaders, we used to joke that here in Nigeria we do orga driven development, that sometimes it's not user driven.
Yeah,
Get
absolutely.
that?
It's a common thing in here. I think it's a common thing
So
yeah.
in the product space in Nigeria, so we just we do orga driven development. Now, here's one thing that people, business owners, product managers, um, product employees that work in the product space, one thing we claim that we are building for the user. But how do you build for the user when you don't even know what the user wants? You can only build for people that you know what they want. If you're giving your child Coke and your child can speak, and you are assuming that the child wants Coke, how did you know that the child wants Coke if the child did not expressly communicate to you that I want Coke? So that means at that point, what you're doing is that you are assuming and you are imposing the Coke on the child. So that's what most of us do in this part of the world. We build the product with an assumption that, oh, this is what the customer wants. And then we shove it down their throats that, yes, you must use this. So now I would, this is Nigeria. So I'll talk about two relatable examples. For those of us that know Chowdeck, I don't know if we have any Chowdeck users here. This is not to promote any brand or to diss any brand, but I just wanted to talk about this with respect to user feedback. Chowdeck consistently iterates their product, and the improvements are not just a result of Oga's imagination or Oga's desire. the improvements are a result of consistent feedback from users. Cowdeck requests for the feedback. Hey, how do you want us to improve this app? What do you want to see in this product? What is giving you headache in our current product? What do you want us to remove from our current product? That is how Chowdeck gets their feedback. And then they prioritize from all the feedback received. They decide that, okay, this is the one we're going with next, considering that it helps a large percentage of our users and all of that. Now, on the other hand, is my very dear friend, GT Bank. I don't know if we have GT Bank users here, the GT World mobile app. I can say categorically that that app has been imposed on us, the new version, especially that version, by my standards and majority of users. For every 10 people who upgraded the old version to the new version, 8 out of 10 preferred the old version. How would you build a version 2 and your users are saying, I wish I did not upgrade? That is not an improvement to your product. So in fact, I wrote, it was part of my opening statements to an investor. I sent an email to a potential investor for my startup, and then it was part of my opening statement that if GTB had done some user research to gather feedback from their current or prospective users, they would have realized that, oh, this is not the way to go. This is not this upgrade that we're proposing does not solve users' pain points, and then they would have built something for the users. I can tell you, between the time that they released the initial version of that app and now, they have released at least 5 updates, which are not just bug fixes, because they are now listening to the users. And now the feedback is not coming as feedback, it's now coming as complaints. So before customers start speaking to you and start complaining, some customers will not complain, they'll just ditch your product. It's important that you speak to them and listen to them first, know what they want, and build for them. So I believe that sort of makes some sense about those two products. Now, for products that I personally have worked on, we have a process to our design and implementation. So when I let me give an example with Tomex Holdings specifically. Tomex Holdings was where I built 2 products, Rapid and Thrive. So I have a panel for feedback. For Rapid specifically, I have like a 50-man panel. So I do, for every screen, for every iteration, we have 2 or 3 options. So I just I don't walk up to the educated or tech savvy people. I get my feedback from people that would actually use the product, people that would, that our product is meant to serve small business owners, market people, and all of that. Those are the people I'll get feedback from. I can't have a product that will serve market people, and then I'll start getting feedback from my colleagues in the office who do not belong to that target market. It doesn't make so much sense, because those ones might be tech savvy and then they just tell you, oh, this product makes a lot of sense. But beyond the aesthetics of the user interface, how intuitive is the product for the people who want to use it? Can they move from point A to point B without your guidance? So that's the kind of feedback I was looking for. And I got that feedback in the design stage before any line of code was written. As the designer is designing, prototype this thing for me real quick. Then that prototype is what I use to gather feedback from users, what do you think? How, okay, if you want to apply for a loan, for example, where would you click? How would you move? What do you think? On a scale of 1 to 5, rate this process. Do you think it can be better? I joined for Thrive. Thrive was my product from the ideation stage till it went live. Rapid, on the other hand, I joined the company and then I proposed an entire overhaul to Rapid. So, in the process of applying for a loan on Rapid, there's a process, there's a part of the process that requires that you generate a remitter mandate. You generate a mandate, print the mandate, and walk into the banking hall to activate the mandate. Then you come back to the app to finish your loan application. Then when I joined, the first thing I did was that because they were not tracking data, they were not tracking user data on the product. So the first thing I did was that I integrated Mixpanel into all of the company products. By the way, Mixpanel is a data analytics tool for studying user activity on products. So I integrated Mixpanel into the product, and I realized that at that point where you are requesting for a remitter mandate was where most people were dropping off in the sign up process. So people were starting their sign up, but they were not finishing it, because why would I want to collect loan from a mobile app and I will still have to enter bank? So that drop off point was enough for me to start reaching out to prospective customers, current users. Hey, how I saw that you could not finish your application, you dropped off at this point. Can I ask why? So we started gathering the feedback that the point of a mobile app is to provide convenience. Why would I have to enter the banking hall? So we had to iterate the process. However, the company's stance was that remitter mandate gives remitter the access to debit their linked account at the point of repayment. But at the same time, if you don't have applicants for your loan, who is going to pay you back? They were scared of non-performing loans, but they were not getting so many applicants just because of fear of losing the money. So we had to iterate that process and make sure everything from start to finish was as seamless as it could get. And we had minimal non-performing loans, and we had an increased amount of applications, successful signups and loan applications. So I believe those three instances, Child Deck, GT, Rapid, I believe they speak to the fact that customer feedback is actually very important.
Absolutely, absolutely, and I like the fact that you have various use cases for them. It is that Child Deck is using feedback to build their product, right? And it is that GT Bank is taking customers' feedback to improve their product, and it is that for the last loan app, it is that you are looking into data to understand users' concern, and you use it to build the product. Thank you for that. Yeah, I think we should. I mean, maybe you already mentioned um, how how people are expected to collect data, but then what are like other various methods um, to collect.
Sorry, I think I lost you for a second.
Sorry about that. I think he's having difficulties with his internet.
Oh, all right. Funny enough, I thought it was my internet.
Sorry, let's just give him some minutes.
Sure, no worries.
Hi everyone. Apologies. I've been talking and I actually did not know that my network is like. Um, but then, anyways, I've been giving feedback to my network provider, but it seems that maybe they don't have a PM like Olawale. They have not been taking them. So yeah, I was. Can you please? Can you guys confirm that you can hear me, please?
Loud and clear.
Yeah, awesome. So yeah, I said, I mean, you've already mentioned, I mean, possible ways we could get feedback, like child deck, you should have, like, they have a form um, um, on their app, and for maybe GT, they are able to like have a support channel for people to make their complaints, right? And for the last ones that you use an analytic tool to identify them, right? But then, I mean, what are other methods that we can take customers' feedback, and what are like ways to actually get insights from the feedback? Because I mean, there is also one thing to know, which is that just because customers are not satisfied with what you build, they probably still don't know what they need.
So I didn't get that. You were talking about how to collect data, right?
Yeah, how to collect the feedback, basically.
Feedback.
Yeah.
All right. So there are quite a number of things, and depending on the stage you're in. So you could maybe in the ideation stage, when you're trying to, gather ideas for the solution you're proposing, either it's a feature release or an entirely new product, you could leverage on social media because at that point you don't want to divulge, you know, all the details to, you want to minimize competition. So you don't want to divulge details that can make competitors take advantage of your vulnerabilities to the market before you. So you could leverage on social media, LinkedIn, Twitter. In fact, Instagram, surprisingly, you can actually get awesome feedback from Instagram. So I've seen designers come on Instagram to say A or B, which is better, and they get a lot of um, decisions. Now, if you have people that you could target, people that fall into your target market, for example, you're trying to build a um, cab hailing application like Bolt, for example, you know that you are targeting a certain demographics, people who have mobile phones, people who are looking for a certain level of convenience and all of that. You could just create a small poll, a very small poll that at the click of a button, people are done voting. I am not sure Instagram has that feature. But I think they do. I think they have it on the story side of things, but stories expire after a certain timeline. So you could use Twitter and LinkedIn to get your um to get poll votes for your poll. If your page social media audience does not have the required traction to get you the kind of feedback that will be quantitative and qualitative enough, you could either, share the link with people who build more influence to help you repost such that it reaches a larger audience. Or if your company has a budget for um, paid reach, so you can pay to more like paid advertisements to push the post to your select audience, and then it reaches them and they can provide that feedback. So that is when you are maybe at the ideation and design stage. Now, when you've implemented, I would always recommend that you target your users, your current users. That is one. So you target your current users either by passing on the data to maybe the sales team or the marketing team or the telesales team to follow up over calls, and just have 2 or 3 questions, populate their responses in an Excel sheet and share that sheet with you. So that is what you analyze and then you share. That is one. Two, which has not really proven to be effective, is to share a form, maybe like a Google form or whatever form, with your users. It it shows a 10%, about 5 to 10% response rate. However, if you have a user base in thousands and your target sample for response would be, maybe say you're expecting about 5% of your user base to respond, then it's awesome. That approach works, and you just blast them emails. Hey, please, we need 2 to 3 minutes of your time to respond to this survey. It is just to make this product better for you. That's that. So that is for people who have large users and cannot painstakingly put a call through to each of them. Finally, if you are building digital products, web or mobile based products, right there in your product, you can have pop-ups that prompt the user to share actionable feedback with you. Do you like this product? Yes or no? If yes, why? If no, why? That feedback is, and you can repeat that for features. Are you enjoying this feature? You make your feedback as multiple choice as possible, such that your user does not have to type anything. Once the user realizes that it's open-ended and they have to start typing, they move away. But if it's just click, 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 then you would get some actionable feedback from the users. So I'll say that primarily you can leverage on emails, you can leverage on social media, you can leverage on calling, and then you can leverage on your product itself to push requests for feedback in the faces of your users.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. I like how you've analyzed this thing in stages, right? Which is like, you can as well, like, even before building, get feedback from the customer, and to actually know what the problem is. And when you finally have the solution, you also like get feedback from them, based on different channels, and stuff. And then while also building, you also like get feedback from them, and even while done building, right, which can be embedded in either on the app or um, outside the app. Yeah. So um, outside the app, I mean by having to send an email to the customer, after each I mean, maybe after when you're done with the first transaction or something, or campaign wise, right, to get feedback appropriately. And you also like mention something to make sure that whatever you are collecting, it is probably a yes or no, or a great or bad, or it just involves them to click and not necessarily have to type, right? Which, I mean, users want to run away from having to type feedback. Basically, they just want to say what their experience was, and they just move on, basically. So yeah, I mean, so now we've collected feedbacks, right? I mean, so how do we interpret them? How do we um, measure the impact of the customer's feedback also, right? So first is, how do we actually implement the feedback, and how do we um, measure the impact of the feedback in the product success. Did you get that, Olawale?
All right. Yes, yes, I did.
Also, I
So
mean, it is also nice that we see your face. I don't know if you can turn on your camera. I mean,
I would do that in a bit. So I
uh,
just God just blessed us with a baby, and as I'm speaking to you, I am
oh,
rocking a baby. So
that's nice.
so
Congratulations, man.
I'm currently multitasking, but I will drop the baby in a bit, and then I'll set up to turn on my camera. So
That's beautiful. I mean, thank you so much for, I mean, having to even join this call while you're expecting a baby. I mean, that's like, I mean, a huge respect coming from you there. I mean, thank you so much for that. And yeah,
thank you,
congratulations, man. Um,
thank you.
yeah, I hope one day I write on LinkedIn about this. Right? I like how this makes me feel. Actually, thank you so much.
No worry. So back to discourse. We have collected the feedback. Now, not all the feedback might be actionable. That's one thing you should realize and should just be prepared for. Some people would, Ford said, if I have asked at the time that they were trying to build a car, they were saying that, oh, if we had asked the customers what they wanted, because at that time people were riding horses. So Ford said that if we had asked the customer what they wanted, they would have said they wanted faster horses. Nobody would have thought that something called a car would, would emerge. People would have thought, okay, we want faster horses. So at some point as a PM, you would have to make critical decisions. Some customers do not know they have a problem until you put a solution to their face. That is one side of things. Now, you have a solution. Customers are giving feedback. Feedback is an avenue for improvement. Either it comes as, hey, your product is good, it can be better, or hey, your product is nonsense. This is what you're supposed to do. So once you have that feedback, you measure it against a few things. One, this customer is asking us to build this feature. Is it a must-have? How does this is this going to solve this problem for only this customer, or it's a problem that majority of our customers have? So that is one. You have to look at the feedback as it applies to the majority of the users. Two, if we implement this feedback, will it help the business drive adoption? Do not forget, a business is a business to make profit. If you are a PM for an NGO related product, please, that's an entirely different conversation. But if you are working for a business that is for profit, you have to think, how does this feedback, how does it increase adoption for our product, which ultimately translates to an improvement in revenue? That's two. Then three, how does it reduce our drop-off rate? People always have people that start the sign-up process and do not finish it. So how does that feedback help improve the drop-off rate? Then finally, a good for every product, strive to get to a point where your customers do not remain as customers, but they move from being customers to being evangelists for the product. What do I mean? I spoke about Child Deck right on this call, just because, not because Child Deck has paid me to speak about them, but because Child Deck over time has consistently wowed me. And I am not just a child deck user, I am now an evangelist for child deck. And there are some products like that I will say, oh, if you ask me for a recommendation, don't use this product. It is absolute nonsense. I have sent them feedback time after time, and they they do not have anything to do about improving their product. So when you collect feedback, analyze it against these things that I've mentioned. I do not have a note, so I'm just speaking off the top of my head. But if I can recall a few things, one, how it helps the majority of your users. If it's a feedback that solves the problem for majority of your users, then prioritize it. If it's a feedback that improves adoption for your product, which in turn then improves your business revenue and drives you towards profitability, that's two. If it's a feedback that reduces drop-off rate, that makes people complete their sign-up and then execute a transaction, prioritize it. If it's a feedback that makes your customers become evangelists for your product, prioritize. Now, let me give an example. Again, I will talk about Child Deck. Child Deck released a feature recently that allows you, Child Deck is a food ordering, grocery ordering app where you can just order your food from restaurants and then they have delivered to you. So Child Deck released a feature recently that allows people to do Bambiala with Child Deck, for lack of a better word, but that's just the way I can put it. So you select what you want to buy, put it in your cart, and then you can send a link to that cart to someone else to make payment for you. So say, for example, I am hungry. I add food to my cart and I send the link to that cart to my wife to pay for the food and the food is delivered to me. Now, the person making payments for the food necessarily doesn't have to be a Child Deck customer, but I am indirectly upselling Child Deck to that person. Hey, a Child Deck customer has asked you to pay for this food. Please proceed to pay if you are aware of this and all of that kind of stuff. Over time, that person would also say, hey, let me even see what this Child Deck is up to. So, and that feature was a result of a feedback gotten from Twitter. I was online the day Child Deck requested for feedback, and I saw that particular feature request from the particular user it came from. So that, and then finally, any feedback that makes your users return to your product multiple times. For every product, there are metrics that you should track: daily active users, monthly active users, and all of that. If you have a feedback that makes your users come back to your product as often as it could get, prioritize that as well. So that's how to sift through the plethora of feedback that you will receive over time.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that. I really don't want to take too much of your time anymore. I love how you've taken this step by step and how you've identified um, um, key metrics to look at even when you get feedback. And you also mentioned that, I mean, it is very important to know that not all feedback are to be taken seriously, because I mean maybe they are not probably adding to what the goal of the product is, or at the end of the day might turn out to not even make customers become evangelists of your product. Um, I would like to end this now because it is important to um, let it be with your family. I mean, this is the time that you want to be throwing a lot of kisses to the new baby as against having to um, um, be here. I truly appreciate the time that you spent with us here today. Thank you so much. I'll personally reach out. I mean, to congratulate you on your new baby. So yeah, I mean, I will end this now. Just for everybody on this call, make sure to subscribe to this fireside. We have a lot more episode that is coming up, and maybe pretty soon we bring back Olawale again to talk to us about more interesting topics. Until then, keep innovating, keep learning, and keep being passionate about the world of product management. This is me signing off. Take care, and you remember that your next great product idea might just be around the corner. Thank you, everyone.
And thank you, everyone. It was nice being here. Thank you. And I hope to see you some other time.
I think someone is raising their hand. CIA, do you have a question?
No, I'm just saying I. I don't know. This is my first time here. I'm just saying that. Sorry.
Oh,
All
hi.
right.
Yeah, hi, Tia.
All
Um,
right.
it's funny that your name is Tia. Anyways, is it Ti?
Yeah, my name is Tolige. My name is Tolige. Just my initials, TI.
Oh,
Then A
nice.
is my middle name. Yeah.
Oh, awesome. So yeah, I mean, Fireside, it's just all about having people that are interested in product management bring their concerns, their questions, and we bring super senior guys to come and address them. And
Okay.
this is, just a part of Proba. We also have the parts that mentors people, train people about product management, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I think you can also subscribe to our next episode and more. I promise that you're going to find them interesting. Um,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
and
Thank you very much. I'll
yeah,
definitely subscribe to your channel. Thank you. Nice
yeah,
to meet you. Bye.
yeah. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, do have a nice one.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining today's episode. And special thank you to Olawale. He has left the meeting. All right. Thank you, everyone. See you next week. Same time. We'll come again with a seasoned industry expert to talk about another interesting topic in product management. Until then, enjoy the rest of your evening.